Hello everyone. Welcome back to The Boy That Loved. I'm overly excited today because I just finished watching The Boyfriend. If you guys didn't know, I'm reacting to The Boyfriend. Well, I guess I reacted to The Boyfriend now that it's over on my Patreon page. I'll have that link below if you guys want to see my reactions to that show as well as other shows, that's been airing recently. In today's video, I'm going to review The Boyfriend. And I'm glad I'm doing this now, right after I just finished episode 10. It's like everything's fresh in my mind. I got all my thoughts together right now. So this is good. If you're new to this kind of video, during my everything wrong with video, basically what I do is I go through each of the characters, or in this case, each of the cast members, and give my thoughts and opinions on them. And then at the end, I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the show overall. And this style of video, how I do it is based on another YouTuber called Amanda BB. She's here on YouTube. She does reviews on shows. That's how she does it. I like that format, so I've been doing it for all the shows that I watch. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to give my opinions on each of the contestants, but let me know how you guys feel about each of them, either based on how I'm feeling, maybe you have a feeling about my opinion, or you can just comment your opinion on each of the boys if you want, or maybe just kind of group them together, like these are your favorites and this is why. I just want to have a discussion with you guys in the comment section. That'd be very, very nice. And again, please, if you haven't done so, please consider becoming a patron. Exclusive content like this show, but also the other shows. His Man from Korea, Boys Like Boys from Taiwan, Boycation from Hong Kong. They're on my Patreon. So if you want to see all that stuff, please become a patron. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into it. First up, we're gonna talk about Tay Tay. Okay, so like everyone else, I was shocked, shaken, and stirred that first thing they did in the beginning was giving out the notes to someone you were kind of feeling, and our good bestie here didn't get a note. I couldn't comprehend. Now, obviously, he is conventionally attractive, really nice physique, and we found out that he has a very kind, warm, uplifting personality. And that may confuse a lot of people, even me, on why no one was checking for him. I don't know if we'll ever know why no one was checking for him. I mean, it wasn't like he was gunning for anyone either. He wasn't trying to like do, date, holler at, all the things. I mean, there was someone he was kind of interested in, but that didn't really come to fruition in any way, unfortunately. And I'll get to my feelings on the structure of the show at the end, because this show it's a little strange how it was structured, and I think because how it was structured, it was hard to get some ample opportunities for potential love, I think. But Tay was very nice. He like I said in my reaction, he is the best supporting character in everyone's story. You can see he really bonded with Shun, which I like. I like how the boys are always laying on each other. Like, we know, like, they all hugged each other and whatnot, but there's multiple times we saw that Shun was laying in Tay's lap, or someone like Ryota was laying on, I think, Alan's arm. Like, I don't know why, but that whole skinship thing is my jammy jam, and I like how they were just felt comfortable to do that with each other. But with Tay, he felt very like he supported everyone's situation, and like he barely got any screen time, which is very unfortunate. I just don't understand that. Like, I don't understand how this show worked in that way, but he barely got any screen time. But towards the end, we got to see more of him. Like I said, he was supporting everyone else's story, being a someone to listen, someone to give advice, but he also had his whole narrative about his lack of coming out, and how and why he didn't yet, and how at the end how he felt the courage to do so. I'm very curious if he done so since the show aired or before the show aired. I don't know, but at the end he said he would. He felt comfortable enough now. He had the courage to do so. I just think he's very pleasant, very nice, and I hope he is received well with the masses. It seems like his castmates liked him based on what we saw on the show. Um, and yeah. Next up we have is Usak. This guy right here. I love the physical appearance of him being so big, brolic, go-go boy, muscles, jawline, very Hercules, Conan Barbarian aesthetic, but then soft boy personality when he's not, dancing. Like, I was shook by that, and I was hoping that was the case because I kind of felt he was that way based on how he smiled. His smile just looked so jovial and inviting, and he was just a small guy. I mean, he was the oldest. I think at the time of this, he was 37. He was the oldest in the house, the tallest in the house, the biggest muscles, and well, actually, Ryota might be taller than him actually, but you know what I mean. He's a bigger guy, and for him to be so small, I kind of wish he was a himbo. He doesn't really. He fits the aesthetic of a himbo, but he doesn't give the ditzy kind of vibe. I mean, I guess you can kind of say he kind of did with the whole money chicken thing, but that wasn't even. He just was like, I need my chicken, so like, give me my chicken, which I'll get to that whole chicken thing later on, but like, oh my gosh. It sucks that he left the show early because he was one of the people who came a bit later, in the house. But he felt satisfied with him being able to convey his feelings towards someone. He felt sad and a bother that when Dai brought up the whole money thing, and he felt like he was annoying people. He felt that he was boring when he was trying to get to know Kazuto better. And I just hope he doesn't feel like down on himself. And I'm glad that Alan was there to kind of lift him up because Alan was like, look, you are great, you're awesome. Let's not play this game. You're doing your big one, and it felt like he left satisfied with what he done. He confessed his feelings, and he felt like I found the courage to do so. So now I can keep doing so in the future. Because I guess it's implied that he's very shy and reserved, isn't able to communicate those romantic feelings like you think he would because he's so like his physique and what he does. I really did like him. I really wish we had to stay with him to the end. Maybe if they have another season, he'll come back, or maybe just in the real world, he'll find someone because he seems like just a nice guy, just a big old teddy bear. You know what I mean? Okay, Kazuto, hot boy Kazuto. This boy was missing days at a time. He comes back, a new crush, another one. Thank you, another one. Thank you. He was like, oh, I ain't do nothing. We barely spoke, and you have all these feelings. I don't know how. And I was like, he must have laced that food with something, cause ain't no way. I'm not saying no one can like him, cause he is very much that caring, nice, kind person. We saw throughout the whole show. Very, very that. But like everyone, by the end, there was like 5 people who had interest. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could say, because Tay, it seemed like Tay liked him, or he said he liked him, but he didn't really do that. But like, we'll say 5. And our best here was overwhelmed. Poor Kazuto. He was like, oh my, not another one. Unbelievable. I'm surprised. And it was a bit, I don't know. Like, on one hand, you're kind of like, oh, hot boy of the house. I know that's right. But other part, you're like, oh, the pressure. Because everyone's confessing, sometimes back to back. And he's like, doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. He doesn't know his feelings yet, so we can't give like an answer at that time. He didn't understand how they had a feelings for him because he's like, we barely spoke, we barely spent time together. How was this even? You know what I mean? So like, poor guy. But he definitely, I can see why they gravitated towards him based on his demeanor, based on his personality, especially when you saw him working the shifts on the coffee shop. He was just so, that smile, and he was in the customer service. I know he works in a restaurant, he's a chef, so like he has that on lock, but to see it, I can understand why anyone would find that appealing, attractive, endearing, all the things, right? And then we get to the point where he's able to really articulate his feelings. He rejected everybody, some of them multiple times. And the way he was able to actually convey his feelings, tell them how he felt, I thought was so interesting. It was very mature, very thoughtful because he wasn't being a jerk about it. He wasn't trying to like be all that, doing the most. He was very direct, but he was very kind, calm. Really came from a place of what he was feeling from his head, like his thought process, but also how he felt. I I don't know if I would be able to articulate feeling my feelings like that, like he was able to. Now he had to do it like 15 times, which I don't envy that at all. Cause like, oh my goodness, how many times I'm gonna reject you? How many times, bestie? Let me stop. But I'm glad he was able to. And then in the end, he was telling Alan, someone he did reject, but he's kind of like, I'm I stepped back, but I felt like I got close to you when I did that. And we did notice that Alan kind of changed, like slowed down a bit. So he was like, okay, he's more my speed now, and he returned the feelings of Alan, and he's able to express that. And they left together. They're the last ones in the house. They left together, and it was so precious. And it was so I was giddy. They held hands, and I was like, I know that's right, Kazuto. I know that's right. Like I was really rooting for him. Like I said, he was gone a chunk of time, and like everybody was trying to like get his attention and spend time with him, but he was so nice about everything, and he's probably one of my favorite cast members because he just it was so precious. Next up is Ryota. Okay, so with Ryota, I have a soft spot for him. I think his shy boy, reserved demeanor reminds me of myself at times. I can be kind of like jovial, but normally I'm kind of more reserved. Maybe not to the degree that he is. I think he's really reserved, but the fact that he kept trying to express himself, and he did multiple times. It sucks that he got rejected by Kazuto a few times. And my heart really hurt for him at the end when he was crying when he left. But there's something about him that I just gravitated towards, and I don't know if it's because he's like a model. I'm a photographer. So that's my profession. I see him and other people that I've known. I do think that I kind of wish he didn't stay so laser focused on Kazuto. I know he broke away from that to have a date with Jinsei, but still, he still was. After he came back from that date, Alan and Kazuto came back from that date. He was like, "Oh, I'm back. I'm back on this." And at the end, he confessed again and even asked him to leave with him. I feel like he knew the answer to that. He had to have known the answer to that. So like, I'm not sure why he tried to like convey his feelings again, but kudos to you, bestie. Kudos to you. I like his friendship with Shun. Like they're like really besties. Him and Kazuto, him and Jin. Like I feel like they're dynamic with each other. With those three was very nice to see. Very refreshing. It's a bummer that he didn't give old boy, but I'm glad he didn't just get with him because old boy liked him. He really was. Didn't want to go that route. It seems, which I think is good. Like it sucks that there weren't more pairings in the show, but if the person you want to be with doesn't want to be with you, and it didn't work out, that's okay. And I think he'll be okay. But I am for some, I don't know, because maybe I just saw him crying. I just felt so like, oh no. But I'm really rooting for him. Like I'm really rooting for him. Next up is Shun, public enemy number one. Yo, I'm just playing. Whoa. Okay, I know everyone is agitated with him, or you're living for him because he got paired up with Dai. There's two camps. People are like just over it, like, oh my gosh, I can't stand you. And other people are like, yes, love is a struggle. You guys went through it, and now you're together. I live for this shit. Like people are in two different camps. I'm secretly in the middle. I did find. Okay, let me say this first. I do like his friendships with the boys. I think that's one thing that isn't shown that much in the show. You have to really catch clips, like flashbacks, certain things, certain just kind of eyeing things to see his friendship with the other boys. Even though it wasn't the biggest highlight, it was there. It was prominent, in my opinion. Like with him and Tae, him and Ryota, I can really tell. And I think also him and Usak, I believe, had a little, not bestie moment, but they were cool. Um, so I really love that. I think that people overlook that because it's mostly about the romance in this show, and that's what we were seeing the most of with him and Dai. Now, for me, I was a little fatigued. You know, the Dai Shun dynamic was dominating the screen time, and like all the things were revolved around them, and like that, all that stuff. But it was hard to really rock with Shun in this romantic way because of the wishy washy nature. Me, I was already over it when he came at Dai's neck because he saw that naked picture of him on the phone, and he had all these things to say about him. He's this, he's that, based on the picture, and I was like, oh, absolutely not, no ma'am, no ma'am. Sure, you can feel some way about someone with a picture, but you out here wilding. Call him every name in the book because of that picture you saw on his phone, and you acting stank. It was a lot, and like, sure, I do believe he can feel the way he feels, and he felt that way. He wanted to express it that way. Fine, but also the way the way you're acting can be off-putting, you know. But he stayed true to himself. His like sad, indifferent demeanor didn't waver. I mean, he did smile a lot and kiki with the boys, but like he seemed very just what's the word, lethargic. He was always like laying on someone, sleeping. He was mentally drained with the quickness. He went on a date with Dai at the aquarium. He was drained from that. He was like, oh, he's just up here, which I get it. I get it. Some people are energy is way up here and you're down here, but I feel like he just stayed down here, and you had to meet him down there. Like he wasn't trying to meet nobody halfway. I guess he kind of met Dai halfway, kind of. I don't know. Dai had to come down to me for him to come out the side. Like he had to like come down here for him to be like, all right, bet. But the fact that he kept getting mad and being stank, and it wasn't my issue wasn't him getting upset. It's just how he acted when he was upset. He acted like a brat every single time. Every single time he kept acting like a brat. I'm not gonna do a shift with you. I won this race. I'm not wishing to have a date with you. I'm not gonna go overnight date with you. Get your hand off of me. But I'm gonna lay on you though. I'm gonna snuggle with you. Get your hand off me. Don't touch me. Shun, let's. It's a little insane, but I'm glad he kind of the way he is. He verbalized that. He said he judged people by their appearance. He really has stopped himself from getting to know someone based on their appearance. He really is that kind of person. He said he's very troublesome. The one time he got mad, like the more recent time about the t-shirt thing, he explained why he got upset. So like he's self-aware. Like he knows that he's a lot to handle, which I like. I like the fact that he's not like trying to act like he ain't the problem. But there's always a problem, it seems. Like, goodness gracious. And it was funny when they went on that last shift. They were like, y'all don't argue, please. Please don't argue. They're like, tee but like, they were like, for real. We're exhausted. We're tired. We're tired because today drained me. But I don't dislike him like other people dislike him, but he did get on my nerves. But I'm glad he's finally with that boy. Maybe he's still with him. I don't know. I'm glad at the end they were able to work it out and leave together. So go off, Shun. Next up is Ikuo. Is how you pronounce his name? He was the last boy to come into the house. How do I feel about him? First of all, you see my reaction. If you didn't see my reaction, go watch my reaction to episode 10. When he hugged Ryota goodbye, I was like, I didn't know they knew each other. I don't think I ever seen them interact, really. I know they talked. I know like in a group setting, yes, but like them hugging was weird to see. I'm like, y'all know each other. Anyways, he he was very nice, cool. Another jovial, fun guy. He seemed on the same wavelength as Alan and Dai as far as energy and like friendliness, which was good. It seemed like in the beginning he was kind of feeling Dai and was kind of like but he pivoted to Kazuto, which he did confess his feelings for. But he was one of the people that were confessing feelings, but Kazuto was like, "Damn, we barely know each other like that to be you a lot of feelings for acquaintances. When you're doing a lot." But then you find out his true feelings were for Dai still, which him and Shun are having this situationship thingy going on. I'm not saying you can't confess to him, but I don't know how it makes sense. Like, he confessed, and I don't know if he really thought old boy was going to choose him, because they've been friend zoned together since that first episode, since they met. Like, when they first met, I could see you being like, all right, cool, me and you. But ever since then, they just been good Judies. You know what I mean? Good buddies. So I thought it was a bit strange for him to confess that, but he felt the way he felt, right? He felt the way he felt. He expressed it, which is good. I think that's good, you know. Now, that whole situation with the whole him talking to Dai about Shun being a brat again, and then went to talk to Shun about it, and Dai was pissed at him about it. Listen, I don't think he should have interjected into that. I do. I think he should have stayed out of it, and that's it on that. Just be a friend to talk to with Dai about it. You know, it's not your job to alleviate the situation, to mend the fences. However, I also don't think, the boys even say he's not doing that maliciously. He's not trying to do all that. Also, they all live together, and their energy together, that they're bickering back and forth, the attitudes, is some people can start feeling anxious and frustrated with the energy in the home. So trying to alleviate that in any way, he did go about it the wrong way, but I don't think he's wrong for trying to, you know, fix that, because it's crazy. But then also he said, I also like you though. That's all another reason why I did that. Oh my god, I was like, oh my goodness, I wasn't expecting that. But overall, a nice guy. I do feel indifferent. I don't know, maybe because he hasn't been that long, or him being in another person for Kazuto, or another person that likes Dai. I kind of feel like I don't feel this so strongly towards him, but he seemed nice for the most part. Next up is Dai. Okay, arguably the main character of the show, next to Kazuto, arguably the main character. Listen, y'all. He is young. And when you're young, sometimes you put up with stuff. I said my reaction, it's easy for us to be like, he should drop him. And even I said, you should drop Shun. This is the 4th or 5th time he acting a fool towards you and being stank, and he's being reckless with your feelings, and he can't stop, won't stop. He won't communicate until the last minute, and you forgive him every time. Like, I really wish he would stand up and be like, I'm not dealing with this no more. I'm good on that. You shoulda, coulda, woulda. I tried to work with you 2 different times before. Now we're on the 5th time. I'm exhausted. I really wish he would have done that, but I am someone who is older than him, and my tolerance is way lower than his would ever be at this point. So I understand him being like rocking with it, because there are growing pains when you're dating someone, and all those things, and it might be easier to cut someone off and be like, I'm over this, and sometimes you really need to, but sometimes it's worth it to kind of push through. And I mean, even based on their explanation, maybe based on how they're doing stuff, and you know the reason, because you may have done something you didn't realize, and they're expressing it to you, and you hurt their feelings, and now you know, and that's the reason. You're the reason why, and you didn't know, and like you want to work on that. Or they're the reason, but they explain it better to you, and now you're like, you feel empathetic towards them, and like, okay, I understand why you did that. Let's work it out. I'm still committed to you. And he was still committed to Shun. Chose him every goddamn time. I mean, that one time he didn't choose him for the shift because Shun raised his hand, which, ooh, annoying. But like, he was dedicated to this boy, through and through. He put him through it, but he stayed dedicated. And they're the first and only couple to on screen to kiss. So go off. I will say, when he was annoyed at, what's his name, Ikuo? He was annoyed at him for like intervening and talking to Shun, but when he apologized to Dai after their shift, what he said was, thank you for your thoughtfulness. I took it as that he knew old boy had good intent when he went to go talk to Shun, and he, even though he kind of snapped at him at that day, he doesn't think badly of him. He has no ill will towards him since then. He was just feeling the ways at that moment, and like they were going, you know, he was going through it, but he feels he appreciated the thoughtfulness that he had to try to help them out, You know what I mean? Which I'm like, you're a real one for that. You're a real one for that. Now, he was real crunchy calling out Usak in front of the whole house about the whole money thing. And we'll get to that at the end. But I was like, like, it's not that serious. There's no consequences to this, I don't think. So, like, and I will say, he in the beginning, he was, like, very upfront with how he felt about things. And it took, like, Alan to kind of, like, have a different perspective for him to be like, oh, all right. Which I kind of loved. I don't know why. Because he felt like he was talking down to some of them at times. He was very like that. But after a while, he calmed down and a very likable individual, I can say. Next up, Jinsei, by the end, became my favorite. One of the older guys, right? 34, so tiny voice, reserved energy. I'm not sure if he's fully Taiwanese, but lives in Taiwan, makeup artist. He so precious. I was still in his corner. When he was crushing on Ryota, I was like, please, I hope this work out for you. I really hope you. And he was getting up the courage to tell him. He told him. And he worked a shift with him. And he got to go on his date. He finally got to go on his date with that boy. That's how I was like, oh, yes. And then that story, even before the whole date with him, the story about his dad and grandpa passing away, oh, my heart goes out to him. He's my favorite, y'all. He's my favorite. I'm so sorry. Like, the most precious person ever. I can't. I'm so bummed. He left early. He didn't get booed up with the person he liked. But I'm glad he bonded with some people. I remember at the end, like the day after he left, Tay was like imitating what he says to him every morning. Hi, Tay. In his little small voice. I don't know why that was so precious to me. He definitely is someone that maybe because we're close in age, or maybe because of him being shy but also able to stay his feelings. Like when he went on that date with Ryota, or the shift, he bought that necklace, and then he told me how he felt about him on the date and stuff, and like he was able to do that, but then he realized it wasn't going to work out because he was able to observe. Like me, I can observe, and I like that he observed things, and he said, you know what, I did what I need to do. I confessed my feelings. I was able to make new friends. I'm walking from this feeling better. I'm feeling good about myself. And he ended up leaving sooner than everyone else. I just feel like the maturity he has, because even though he did feel slighted and upset about Ryota liking someone else, not him, despite him confessing his feelings, despite them spending time together, he was still very optimistic, it seems, or still willing to try. But when the writing was on the wall, he was like, all right, time for me to go. The two oldest left. They're like, listen, we did all we could do here. It's time for us to leave. Good luck to y'all. May the odds be in y'all favor. Good luck to y'all. I'm about to bounce. I don't need to sit here and just stir in this. And I like that. I wish he would have stayed to the end, but I mean, he had no other romantic options, so might as well bounce. He's my favorite though. Like he's my favorite out of all of them. Like I think they're all great in different ways. Between him and Tay and Usak, those are my three. That's my holy trinity of the house. Oh, also Alan. Oh my gosh, I forgot about Alan. He's definitely in that trinity. So I guess it's my holy square. My holy, Last but not least, Alan. Okay. When you look up in the dictionary, best boy, Alan's gonna pop up. Ain't no Alan not the one they got. Cause, excuse me, when he came in the house, he was smiling, fun, high energy, giving everybody a hug, had this fiery red hair, he's Brazilian. Get that little Latin spice in him. It just was so refreshing, right? So refreshing. Him also being someone to give advice and lift people up in the house was so refreshing. Him being so fun and able to bluntly, in front of everyone, tell everyone who he liked. He did it in private. He did it in front of people. He wasn't playing. Alan wasn't playing with y'all. Kazuto, he said, look, you, mm-hmm. And like, we saw they went their overnight date, and he was a little touchy-feely, a little bit, high on the skinship. Kazuto wasn't really feeling that. He withdrew back some, but not too much. He stayed in that orbit of Kazuto, and it worked out. Kazuto said, "Oh, we're going on another date. We're going to have another overnight," and they did. And I don't know how he felt. Really, they didn't really explain. He didn't. What we saw, he didn't really explain how he felt to the cameras, maybe to us, to Kazuto, even to him. Really, it was more. The dynamic was controlled by Kazuto, so we didn't really get to. I don't understand what his feelings were towards him after that first initial day, and then the whole friend zoning thing. But you can tell he really liked him and was excited to go on the second date and even leave the house with him, holding hands. And I love that for him. I really do. I'm not sure if they continue dating after the fact or whatever the case may be they're doing now. I just know Alan, I want to be friends with him. I really do. And like you see on social media him like twerking and stuff. I'm like, not him dancing like that. He better go off. And him being able to open up to Kazuto about his family, and like he just overall just seems like a very good guy, very good time. He has a lot of energy. I mean, if you're someone who can't handle lots of energy, maybe Alan, you take him in small doses, but he seems also can calm it down too. He is 29, finna turn 30, so like he is a big kid, but he's still grown, so he not acting a fool, you know what I mean? But he really brought a nice light to the house, and I was giddy when they left together. Listen, I thought he would leave with someone. I ain't know who, but I felt like in my heart of hearts someone was going to snatch him up. I don't know what it was. Maybe because how he just is. He has an opposite personality than most of them. I don't know what, but I just knew in my spirit someone was snatching him up, and they did. Okay, and they did. Okay, guys. If you made it this far, we are going to talk about the show overall. Okay, listen. Before y'all come and drag me, because you will drag me. This show's format wasn't for me. And let me explain. The contestants themselves, I love these guys. These guys made the show great. Like I said, I was giddy when Alan and Kazuto got together at the end. I was more different towards Dai and Shun, but like good for them. And the friendships they made, and the people who confessed their feelings, the courage they took, and the stories they told. The boys in the house, good casting. Good cinematography. The show is stunning. From the aerial shots of the house, the beach, the locations of the truck was going to the shots of in the house of the boys, the lighting, the color grading. It all looked so good. 10 out of 10 production value. Okay. The problem I'm having is, number one. Well, is it a problem? I guess it's a problem. We'll start with the first thing. The first thing is the editing of the show. We were jumping around so much, especially in the beginning, to a different day, different time of day, different moment, at a breakneck speed, and not getting any type of context. I remember the first time it happened was when we jumped and the boys were talking about a name for the truck, but they didn't explain that. They were doing that. So I was like, what are they doing? And it kept happening. Like we keep jumping here, and we only saw a little bit of this. We only saw a little bit of that, and we barely saw this, and all those things are happening. They kept cutting things out, and we weren't seeing much interactions because of editing, and they kept cutting to things. Lots of the coffee shifts were cut. Like we saw, like one when Tay and Alan worked that shift, we always saw was Alan talk to that lady, say, "Oh yeah, I'm Japanese and Brazilian, yeah, girl, and then clip. It was the next day. I'm like, wait, what? We didn't see them ride to the work after their shift when they got back home, but it's the next day now. And I know they're there for a month. I guess I know that. And I know maybe Al and Tay wasn't really vibing that way, so they didn't want to show it. But you took the time to show them pick each other. Why can't we see a little bit something? Their friendship at least. Can we see something? They were cutting things out. So the editing and pacing was weird in this. Then the next thing is the panel. I know, y'all. I know. The Japanese shows, the dating shows have these panels. The Korean shows have these panels. It's just, I guess I might be spoiled a little bit because the other queer Asian dating shows, they don't have a panel. Boyscation, Boys Like Boys, His Man, seasons 1 through 3. Their straight counterparts have a panel, but the gay ones don't. So I was like, ooh, this panel thing on this ain't given. It's a more of a distraction. I could do without it, but I understand that's how the Japanese shows function. And just because the other countries did that with their gay stuff doesn't mean they will have to. So, but I could do without that. Or if you're going to do that, could y'all at least introduce everybody? They introduced the drag queen, that was it. I was like, who are these people? And I know if like you're in Japan, you might know who they are maybe and whatnot, but like it's a show for Netflix for us international fans to see. It would be nice for them to kind of tell us who everyone is. Introductions, please. Now by the end, I didn't mind the panel, but this first like maybe 5 episodes, I was like, oh, I'm sick of the panel. I'm sick of the panel. I was sick of them the first time they showed up, but by episode 6, I was like, all right, I'm rocking with y'all. Like, y'all not going nowhere, and I don't have to be mad about it forever. Like, let's get over it. So I got over it, but I could have done without it. But by the end, they were cool. They were cool, and their commentary kind of filled in some blanks because the show cut things out. So they were kind of like using context clues to give some explanation of people's actions and feelings. It's fine, but I just didn't care for that. The other thing I didn't care for, I didn't understand was, one, the money thing. Let's start with the coffee thing. I think the whole working shift thing is a good idea, right? I like that concept. Like, we're working shifts together, we get to know each other and hang out on our shifts, and then after our shifts. Like, before, going to work and after, so it's like a whole date thing. Like, we spend time together alone, going there, spend time together alone for the most part, working, and then afterwards, which they did a few times, but it wasn't consistently shown. That's the issue with the editing. Also, even with that, they had those people come teach them how to make coffee. We saw maybe a minute of that until they cut to Dai leaving for his birthday with his homegirls, which I hated that. Him leaving the house to go on for his birthday party with his homegirls. No microphone, so all we heard was room echo. Oh, that was insane to me. That was not necessary. We did not need to see all that. Him liking that boy or confessing his feeling a way about him. He could have told us that in the confessionals. He could have told that to the other boys in the house. Him leaving, because we could have saw the other boys interact more if we saw them all trying to make coffee. We could have had a quick little kiki with them, a montage. I'm not saying let's linger on, watch them in real time make coffee, learn how to make coffee, but like show us a little bit of that, because we left that and it was the next day. The editing in the beginning was very weird. So anyways, and then when it came to the coffee thing, the budget in the house, they had this budget of this amount of money each week or each day or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, who cares about that? There's no consequences of going over budget, or what's the point of this whole budget thing? Nothing. Yes, it caused a little bit of drama when Dai brought up that old boy was spending too much money or wasn't trying to like be mindful of the budget, but there was no consequences to that. And we spent like several episodes talking about like the budget and like all that crap, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. I mean, we spent time talking about the chicken stuff too. This chicken smoothie, that didn't matter either because old boy left. So the whole budget money thing was a waste of time. And I only bring this up because they spent time showing us that in the show. We saw more of that than we saw boys interacting. Now, with the whole shift thing, I personally think they should have did 2 shifts a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, 2 sets of boys, someone that hasn't been on the shift together, because we keep getting, I don't know, because in my mind it would have made sense for them to have the boys paired up with different people on dates or some type of thing, like maybe after the shift there's a date you can go on. That's the, and I guess maybe the money you make on your shift determines how big your date is, the restaurant you go to, the activity you do, or something. So that way, the boys get to date each other and see who they're rocking with for real. Because we see the date. We can see, oh yeah, these guys are really feeling each other. He's really feeling this other guy too. Oh, these guys are really good friends. They're giving friend zone. And like, don't get me wrong, we did see friendship conversations after their shifts a few different times, but I wish it was more intentional of let's have them go on a date. And maybe I'm thinking about His Man and Boys Like Boys, where they made the boys go on dates. Yes, some people went on multiple dates with the same person, but that's after a little while, after they kind of had a date with other people first, before they start picking the same person again. You know what I mean? To get a real feel, because otherwise the other boys had nothing to do when the other guys went to their shifts. So like, they're just hanging out in the house, and we're not seeing too much of that. Give them some activities, give them dates, give them something. I think that was kind of strange. What else? Oh, also, what was really strange was the whole note thing. They did it at episode 1 and not again. Why not do that every day? Or at the end of the week? Like every Friday, time for a new note. Or every couple days, like one at the beginning of the week, middle of the week, and the end. So like, let's do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're putting notes and see who writing who, and it's anonymous, and we can't tell who it is. But like, I mean, I don't think the note thing was necessary, but I liked it. It was a nice change of pace, because the other shows have the people call the person they like and like talk on the phone like, hey, you know. This whole note thing, I was like, oh, it's a change of pace. This is a little different. You don't know who you liking, and having people work shifts together, go on dates with each other, it would have really stirred the pot of feelings, or really helped people gain a stronger feeling towards each other. I don't know. That would have been really great. I know it's the first show, so like, they're probably gonna tweak it. Maybe, hopefully they tweak it. I doubt they'll see this video. I doubt you guys agree with how I feel, because some people are very complacent with what we just get in these shows, and they're fine with it. And some people are like, yeah, you're right. They could have got some more dates. Some people got more screen time. Also, people leaving the house. I know they're there for a month. But having people leave the house days at a time, they get up for a shift, a coffee shift. 2 guys are missing. Less options to pick. I don't know why they did that. And instead of a month, can y'all just have them there for 2 weeks instead? Because taking 2 weeks off is different for a whole month off. And like, having them leave for 3 days at a time, 2 days at a time, take on all the time. It was strange. It was so strange, y'all. I did not understand it. I didn't get it. I didn't comprehend none of it. So I wish if they do another season, they kind of tweak it a bit. The guys go on more dates. We get more group dates. Send them to the go-kart. Send them to the fair. Send them to go fishing. Send them to go to do arts and crafts or whatever. Especially if they're not going to work that day. If you want to keep the working aspect of the show in there, let the money have meaning. The budget have meaning. Because there was no consequence to that. So like, we spent time on that. I mean, after a while they stopped talking about it. So like, I guess it doesn't matter. But like, if it didn't matter, why did we do it in the first place? That's the point I'm making. I know by most stuff that I'm complaining about, it didn't matter in the end, but we did it in the first place, and we spent time on that. So like, we could have done something different. Now overall, I think for me, my feelings on the show, I don't know, because I like the cast. The cast does it for me, and that's the point. The point is the cast, and it was a very nice cast. I just, how they utilize them, what they shown us, lots of interactions. We got glimpses of interaction that happened 3 days before the episode or whatever the case may be. I'm like, damn, I wish we would have saw that. Oh, they bonded. Oh, we didn't see none of that until now. And this clip you're showing us slow down for 3 seconds. Work. So hopefully they have a better structure. A better, okay, today we're doing these dates. We're all going out on dates together, paired up, two, different directions for the first date. Okay. Second date, we're doing breakfast. Okay. The person you didn't go, pick someone else. Okay. Two dates, two different people. All right. Two new boys come in the house. They pick who they want to go date with. Everyone picks from who's left. All right. Now we get to pick who you want to go on date with. Now we get to pick out who y'all been on dates with each other. Y'all been hanging out in the house. Now we know what's up. Now we know what's up. Forget that budget. I don't want to say forget the coffee truck thing, but maybe forget the like I don't that didn't. I like the truck. I like the aesthetic of it. They went to talk to the customers and they get to hang out. Like that whole vibe is a vibe, but like it. If y'all need something, if y'all can send them on dates so I can get away from the house and do things together. If that was the point of the truck thing, what y'all think? I think I'll be tripping because it sounds like I'm gonna change everything about the show, but I kind of do. No, I like the aspects of it. I just if the editing was different, if we set them on dates, if we had certain things in place so we can really see what's going on with the interactions, maybe give people a chance to really see if they like each other. Because if someone is just dating someone based on the aesthetic or the vibe they have, and there's only that one person, and not giving no one else a chance because there's no one's going on dates with each other, that's the way to alleviate that and make them just go on these dates, you know. But overall, I did enjoy watching this. I just don't think it's great as a dating show per se. But I enjoy the cast, so like I'm gonna give it that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts below on this show, on my opinion. Let me know your opinions. If you agree or disagree, let me know. Please be nice though. Like don't drag me, but let me know. Become a patron, and I will see y'all in the next video.